let's queer up the courts. Court send case of prosecutor suspended by DeSantis back to trial judge over First Amendment issues. A Democratic Florida prosecutor suspended by Republican Governor Ron DeSantis will get another chance to show his political advocacy was protected by the First Amendment. Yesterday, a 3-judge federal court of appeals panel ruled that State Prosecutor Andrew Warren and his political speech could not be the basis for his removal. The 11th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals judges sent the case back to a trial judge in Tallahassee to determine if the governor's suspension was improperly focused on Warren's statement of opposing certain legislation to criminalize abortion and gender care. DeSantis cited these advocacy statements in his August 2022 suspension of Warren, whom he replaced with Republican Suzy Lopez as the Tampa-based state attorney. Warren, who had been elected twice, recently announced he would not run again this year. In his January ruling in Warren's lawsuit, U.S. District Court Judge Robert Hinkle agreed with Warren's contention that the advocacy statements were protected by the First Amendment, but that DeSantis would likely have suspended him anyway for other reasons. The 11th Circuit vacated that decision and instructed Hinkle to hold further proceedings in which DeSantis would have to show that the suspension was based on issues with Warren's actual performance and not policies in office, not just his political advocacy. I mean, I support this decision. This is actually a good decision. And more importantly, if prosecutors can just be yanked because of their political advocacy, what's the point of electing these prosecutors anyway?
I agree. It's just crazy.
And, DeSantis is behaving like, the
petulant little bigoted child.
Yeah, well, I was going to say a Florida version of Xi Jinping, just, fire officials, willy-nilly, suspend them, prosecute the minorities.
Of course, you're referring to China's current dictator.
China's current Winnie the Pooh-shaped dictator, yes. I'm getting canceled in China. I don't care.
You're not going back to the PRC anytime soon.
Nope.
Hunter, what do you think?
Well, I think it's good. I agree with you. I think it's a good decision. I don't understand how we live in a state in which people do elect somebody to do a job and then somebody else can just come in and take them out of that job. And I think what's so interesting about it is that right now we have the Republicans talking so much about the idea that we're denying candidates or we're denying elections. Well, here they are. I mean, DeSantis is just rolling over the people's voice. He's rolling over their elections for these individuals. First Amendment is what First Amendment is, and he has the right in order to be able to do that. So I think this was a smart move by the 11th Circuit to send it back for more faxer.
Well, I mean, I totally agree with you. The issue for me is how can you have a governor that has unquestioned authority to remove a duly elected official that they politically disagree with? That is authoritarianism.
You can
bare bones.
And let's remember, this isn't the first. That may be the first, but it's not the only time.
That's the second time.
Right here in something out.
Broward County removed the state attorney in Orange County.
And Broward County school board members. I mean, this is one time's a thing, twice is a coincidence, 3 times or more is a pattern.
But you can thank Tallahassee for that. The supermajority, the Republican supermajority, essentially annoyed the governor to basically make any unilateral decision as long as against political opponents that they don't like. Same thing when Wisconsin, when Tony Evers became governor, the Republican legislature makes sure they strip every possible bit of power out of Evers's office, despite the fact that the previous governor, a Republican, enjoyed widespread powers.
Right. I'm sure, and don't worry, I'm sure the next Republican that gets elected in Wisconsin, they'll restore those rights.
One final thought on that is, it's interesting. I wonder if Warren reconsiders his decision not to run for re-election. He made the statement that he was not going to run for re-election because he said, even if I won, DeSantis would just suspend me from office again. There's no point in me doing that. That was before this decision came out. I wonder if the 11th Circuit decision and whatever comes off from the lower court's rehearing of this influences his decision to run for office again.
Well, time runs short.
I don't know. I mean, if sorry.
No.
If I were his political consultant, I would tell him that run for high office, run for Congress, run for statewide office as a poster boy of Republican overreach and persecution.
And at the end of the day, it's prosecutorial discretion. That's what it is. There are a lot of, I believe right here in Broward, we aren't going after people who have less than 1 ounce of marijuana. If you don't have a card in this state, you can be prosecuted up to as a felony. Judges do it all the time. Certainly the Florida legislature, the current Republicans now, would say, no, everybody who kills someone is a murderer and should be locked up. But we know that not everybody goes to jail. We know that people who are caught with a little baggie of coke in their car, they're probably going to get a pass on the first time. They're not going to go to jail because the law, even though the law says this is a horrible thing. So each prosecutor, each judge, each district gets to say, this is how we're going to handle it. The governor's not sitting up there. Even the Florida State Supreme Court isn't up there micromanaging every single district. Ron DeSantis did this because he doesn't like the guy, because he believes in a woman's right to choose. My God, can you imagine? Well, we can't imagine it in Florida